Well, hello and welcome to our front yard garden here in the South Carolina upstate. This is episode 14 for 2025. It's the last day of May, May 31st. It seems like we've been doing these for quite a while, 14 episodes, and yet it's not even summer yet. We did start back in early February, and a lot has happened so far, and we've got more going on right now. Some new things have come out this week, and we're going to talk about them here in just a moment. It's a Saturday, kind of a hazy sun, very pleasant. High today is going to be in the upper 70s. And so let's get started. We always start in the mailbox bed here. Not a lot going on here, but I will say we've got some zinnias that have gone in. We grew these from seeds, and these will end up being probably 3 or 4 feet tall by the time they're done. We do have one flower out, and there will be multiple flowers in multiple colors by the end of the summer. Some snapdragons here kind of coming and going, and some kind of a variation of a type of morning glory here. Not sure exactly what those are going to do. They came up from seed last year. Should have gotten out a little bit earlier in the day, because I can see some that have already shriveled up, but they look like they're going to do pretty well. They're covering a lot of ground, and hopefully they'll grow up onto the mailbox, because our clematis has not done all that well, and even the newer leaves that have come out are not doing too well. I think this has a disease. This might be its last year. We may have to get a new one next year. We'll find out. We've got lilies here that are going to bloom probably in another 2-3 weeks. Just starting to get some buds on them now. So we'll, as always, we kind of see that mailbox bed as a work in progress. It changes a lot through the year. Then we come up here to our triangle bed. Again, not a lot going on right now. Creeping phlox done for the year. Our miniature or petite knockout rose, kind of in between phases. We had a ton of flowers in the early spring, back in April. We're starting to get some more here and there. So we'll get some more color to replace the early ones before too long. It would come along a lot quicker if I deadhead it, but if you watch these videos very often, you know I'm just not going to be doing that. We do have a very small daylily, kind of a Stella d'Oro style. It's going to bloom with small yellow flowers before too long. So we have that to look forward to. And then over here, a lot more zinnias that we grew from seed. Some of them starting to bloom already, and you're starting to see these variations in color. We've got white and red here, orange, a pink one back there, another orange, yellow, and we're going to have a lot more. We probably have close to 300 zinnias spread out between the front and backyard, so they're going to be giving us a lot of color. Also have something that came up from bulb last year, liatris. It gives these tall stalks of purple and pink flowers. Those will be, it's actually grown quite a bit since last year. It's got currently 8 or 9 stalks. It was much smaller last year, so it's really growing and doing very well. Also some dianthus down here still blooming. Then we have, moving over this way, some black-eyed Susans that came up from seed. These were primarily a backyard flower, but over the last couple of years they've started to come up here in the front, and actually in very large numbers. They spread out quite a bit, so we're going to be getting a lot more color up here as the summer progresses. We've got some Russian sage right here. These give kind of a not a petite, but a very small purple flower, very pretty, and they're not terribly impressive, but they're it's a nice flower. It gives you just a little variation. Got some climbing roses back here. This has been an extremely successful plant for us. Doesn't do especially well in terms of foliage. It looks pretty bare from having lost leaves to black spot, but starting to get some new ones and lots of buds. It does this every year. And I think it'll be a little healthier now that we finally got the trellis anchored to the wall. So looking back in here, we've got some phlox that will bloom later on. Clematis over here, done for the year. These were huge white flowers, but they only bloom in April, and then they're pretty much done. Some more climbing roses back here. We've got one single one way up there, about 8 feet tall. Others come and go. These are not prolific. They give us the occasional flower, most of them in the early spring, so they're largely done for the year. More phlox back in here, a few more purple Russian sage. And then over here, we've got our hydrangeas. Last week I was struggling to come up with the name. I just was completely blanking out. But primarily this group is pink. Last year I think we had some pink and blue in here, but this year it's almost entirely pink. They are, I think these have grown about as large as they're going to, because they're in almost total shade now, thanks to our Japanese maple, which just keeps growing and growing, but they still do pretty well overall. And then over here we've got the nice combination of blue and pink, and these are doing very well. They get a little bit more sun, still a pretty shady spot, but they're looking very healthy overall. And these will bloom for probably another few weeks, probably through the end of June, and then they'll just slowly fade out in color over the remaining months of the summer. Over here, it's worth looking at our little citrus area. Orange, believe it or not, it is still alive. It's got a lot of dead leaves. It didn't do too well during the winter, but it hung in there. The lemon, the gigantic lemon that's about 4 or 5 years old now, did even worse. It lost most of its leaves, but the leaves that you see now are basically all new. It did not die off. It just kind of went dormant for a while. The only problem is we're just not getting any buds or flowers on it. Now the smaller ones that I've bought in the last couple of years, they're doing better. These top two, they're just in these small containers. They are not especially impressive, with the exception of this little area here. And you can see some lemons growing. Now, if you watched these videos last year, I had one lemon that got to about this size, and then it just, I don't know if it outgrew its energy source or what exactly happened, but it just kind of withered and then fell off. Never got any bigger than that. This one is, actually both of these are growing pretty nicely, so we'll see what happens with them. These two had a ton of flowers, but none of them got fertilized, so we're not getting any fruit out of them. But the flowers alone are worth having the plant, because they're pretty and they smell absolutely wonderful. You can swear you're in the middle of a citrus grove in California or Florida. Over here, gardenia. You have to look quickly because the flowers will be gone very fast. In fact, by next week I don't think we'll have probably a whole lot to show, because I don't see much in the way of buds at this point. But these do give us some beautiful flowers right about now, late spring. Historically, if you watch these videos, I've always confused these with camellia, which we have in the backyard, and those are big red flowers that bloom in February. These have done really well right now. And then over here, we have a lot of creeping jenny on the ground, and then some Asiatic lilies here, and then gladiolus, some absolutely beautiful glads. I'm going to pick this one up. This is a problem we always have. They're so big, and the flowers themselves get to be so heavy. They're top heavy, and then they fall over, and sometimes they'll snap, and keeping them up is quite the challenge. Try to do this, see if it'll work. Probably should have prepared before I started the video, but there we go. But you can see a beautiful color, kind of an ivory color almost. I really have never seen this. We've got some more in the backyard that are brilliant orange. just absolutely beautiful. And we've got another one here. And then this one, this is more typical of what they do, is to just kind of snap because they're too heavy. So I'm going to have to cut that one off and bring it inside. But absolutely gorgeous flowers. And looking from here, I mean, you really get kind of a nice view of the glads and the camellia, and the hydrangeas in the background. Some more lilies through here. Our snapdragons are kind of done for the spring. We'll probably get some more flowers later on in the spring, but for right now, they're kind of done. I always have to write our spotlight. It looks fairly nice in the evenings. We get some nice lighting. It's been very inexpensive. Just most of these lights are about $10 or $20, sometimes less, at Home Depot, the ones that shine up into the trees with solar power. And then we have pathway lights along the walk over there that we got at the dollar store for $1.25 a piece. So you know, you can spend thousands of dollars on outdoor lighting, or you can spend, you know, under $100 if you choose to, and I think it still looks pretty nice. We've never done a video at night, but and really you probably won't, because you don't really see the flowers too well in that low light. Now here's a different hydrangea. This one's more of a purple color. That's the only one we have that's this color. It's a little different than the blue that we saw elsewhere. And then we have pink over there. We're going to see that from a different angle in a minute. And then over here, of course, our hosta just had this stalk that shot up over the last few days, looking really nice. And then over here, these were earlier in this spring, our viburnum plant. Still some seed pods here that you can see. Oh, there we go. But the flowers are, of course, long gone. Azaleas as well. Now, the azaleas will come back in the fall. We'll get some nice pink flowers probably come October or so. So we can look forward to those. Our neighbor has some nice daylilies here. They've cut back some of their, I think it might be butterfly bushes, looks like. So they did what we did earlier in the year, and it's worked out, so hopefully it will for them as well. Some daylilies here, not putting out any flowers quite yet. Here's a closer view of our hydrangea, kind of hidden back there, but still very healthy for a fairly small plant. Here we have this wall of big knockout roses, 5 of them that have done very well, but they're done for the spring. I've said before, I'm not going to put the time into deadheading them because there are probably a couple thousand seed pods on here that need to be cut out, and that is holding it back from putting out more flowers, although we're getting a few buds and flowers here, so it's going to continue to give us some color sporadically through the rest of the year. Now this is what I was talking about before with butterfly bushes. This one had grown way too big as of last year. It really wasn't giving us a whole lot of flowers, and this year, because we cut it back to its almost to its base, not quite all the way down to the ground, but close, back in early February, you know, we're getting some really pretty purple flowers, a lot more right now at least than we had last year, so hopefully that will continue. Come on over here to this bed. A number of things to show off here. We've got some Monarda, also known as bee balm. These just keep coming up every year from roots and seeds. We get a few more every year. It's a really unique flower. I hate to say this because I hate these things, but they kind of look like big spiders. But they're you know, very pretty, very nice bright red. And then over here, some salvia. This is the one I always call rock candy. Very pretty purple flower. And these will bloom probably for another couple of weeks, and then they'll gradually wither. Kind of like over here, we have these grape hyacinths that bloomed back in April, just seed pods now. And then over this way, we have a bunch of gladiolus that we put in back in February, coming out now. Quite a contrast to the ivory colored ones over here, but absolutely beautiful color. And I like bringing these in the house. The only problem with them is that they have a tendency to bring ants in along with them, so you have to be kind of careful with that and really make sure that there aren't any ants on them before you bring them into to your house. But all of these are the same sort of magenta color, absolutely gorgeous flowers, and we'll see some more in the backyard too. Daylilies getting close to blooming. Probably next week we'll have a lot of these, and some of them very, very fancy. We're starting to see some of the ruffled pattern on the buds even. So this is one of the high points of the front yard once they start to bloom. We've got some more dianthus here, both dark and light pink. Some more zinnias, just kind of developing. Our three big knockout roses here, the pink, coral, and red colors. They had they were at kind of their high point just a little more than a month ago, and now we'll just get sporadic flowers here and there, again because we're not deadheading. When you look closely at these things, a lot of them got fertilized and they have these big seed pods, and that's where all the energy of the plant is going. Unfortunately, that will keep them from flowering. If I were to ever get my act together and get out here and deadhead them, I think we'd see far more flowers. Here we've got some dahlias doing really well. In fact, the first dahlias are doing really well. So that's about it for this bed. We're going to do the backyard next, and we'll talk to you again in a few minutes.